Welcome to a 10-minute journey through the goods and bads of the law of attraction. There are 3 stages, all really valid, all part of the journey, all have their pros and cons. It's really important to know whereabouts you are and then assess when you're ready to move on to the next one. The first stage is the one we all know. This is the law of attraction as described in The Secret. This is where the concept of your thoughts create your reality. Okay, put simply, you have a thought. The thought came from something that happened in your past, your history, your family, or whatever. The thought hits the brain. The brain accepts it as reality. The brain therefore creates chemicals to match it. The chemicals create the emotions create the feeling, and then you react. Generally speaking, that reaction will create some kind of behavior which determines how your life is going to go. So it's very empowering, the fact that you can actually control a lot more about your life than you think. But then comes this idea of the fact that your thought creates your reality. That's because actually how we're behaving, how our emotions are, kind of creates a vibe around us. So they're creating this concept of your thought attracts things into your reality. No, it doesn't. Yes, it's really important what your vibe is like, but you do not need to feel guilty about what you've attracted into your reality or panic manage your vibe. Plus, some people think that all they have to do then is monitor their vibe and they don't take action, and you will still have to take action. The problem with this aspect is the responsibility for your thoughts and your actions is really useful, but the fear that it creates in people about having a negative thought, because that might attract something negative, is really, really excruciating and for some people paralyzing. It also created a huge amount of victim blaming of why did you attract that into your life? For anybody who'd attracted difficult lives, illnesses, or traumatic experiences. Instead of worrying about your vibe, just know that psychologically you can change a lot about your life by determining your mindset. If you walk into an interview in a positive mindset, you're going to come out with a better result. Now, once you've got a habit of questioning where your thoughts came from and instead of reacting, acting upon what's going on and taking more control, you can start moving on to stage 2, which is the 4D, more feminine version of the law of attraction. Here we start to realize that just visualizing something, just affirming it, just willing it into being is not necessarily going to work, especially in the changing way that the humans are evolving and the energy is evolving and all that kind of jazz. Here we look at the fact you do not have to be just positive. It's a much more healthy version of looking at your thoughts. So you're not trying to repress your negative thoughts. In fact, it's really encouraged to accept, acknowledge, and feel your feelings of sadness or negativity, etc. And we talk more about how important it is to ask for what you want, believe that you deserve it, and be willing to receive it. So it's a much gentler, more feminine approach. Feeling is the key at this level. It's about the acknowledgement of the fact that the goal, the Ferrari, isn't really the point. The point is how the Ferrari or the house or the success would make you feel. And then acknowledging that you could feel like that today, actually. Let's say you want to feel more free. Go swimming and you'll have that sense of freedom. And then you keep working towards the other kinds of freedom that you want. So it's very much encouraging you to start taking action now, start feeling now the way that you actually want to feel. Acknowledge that yes, you're working towards a goal, but that you can feel like it now. We also start to talk about gratitude. It's amazingly, amazingly powerful and can literally bypass emotions and get you straight into a much more flowy, a much more healthy emotional state. So we talk a lot about counting your blessings, gratitude for what you do have, and so on, because actually you're more likely to achieve what you want to achieve from a place of gratitude of what you've got, rather than from a place of resentment and disliking what you've got. However, there's still a problem here. There's still a degree of victim blaming and the concept of the fact that you didn't get yourself feeling right enough in order to attract what you actually wanted to attract. This is where you start to move on to the 5D, more combined approach to the law of attraction. This is where we start to understand that you can't force everything to happen, that the law of attraction is about learning to flow between certain destined points in your life. So your free will determines your journey and how you journey through those points, but your destiny points are set. And why does it appear that sometimes you manifest stuff? That's because at that time you were in the flow, and therefore what you intuited and decided you wanted to manifest actually came from being in the flow and knowing it was already coming anyway. Excuse the dog noises in the background. The most important thing here is to understand that anything that is going to push you out of flow is not really helping you to tune into what's on its way. So any messages that are full of fear or that are disempowering or that are aggressive and not helping, what you want is ones that are full of passion and joy, hope and empowerment. The more difficult concept here is the idea that everything is working out for us. Not necessarily in the way that we, the ego, actually want it to, but in the way that we've planned it at a soul level. And yes, I've been pissed off with my soul level and my plan. So your limitations are meant to be there, either because part of your journey is to break them or because you're meant to work your way around them. And it's important for you to work out your journey. You don't have to like it. You don't have to sit there going, oh, I'm so grateful for this stuff being so yucky. And it's fine that hindsight sometimes takes us years or lifetimes to gain. And this acknowledges why some of us have appeared in times of difficult life challenges. So there are some things that we can't change because it's in the environment that we're in or the country that we're in or the world that we're in. So in summary, yes, take responsibility for the thoughts, work out where they came from, decide whether you really want to keep them, take responsibility for the emotions that happen in your body and the actions that you take instead of reacting. But don't repress your feelings because your feelings are not negative. Acknowledge your feelings and tell yourself it's okay that you feel like that. I like journaling. That's how I talk to my emotions and my feelings. And when it comes to setting a goal, remember that actually how you're going to feel at the end of it is what's most important. So focus on the fact that you can start feeling that now. That almost opens the door for it to come to you, if it's meant to. And focus more on being in the flow, because then you're kind of knowing what's coming to you. But you don't have to know, it's still going to come. One way or the other. You can either journey a more graceful way using the law of attraction, or you can take the more difficult route. It doesn't matter. Everybody has been through all of the journeys. We've all experienced anything. There's no point in looking down on somebody at a different spiritual perspective of you, a different personal development perspective as you, a different country, a different behavior, and all the rest of it, because it's all part of the journey and we all experience everything anyway. So don't get on your spiritual ego because you've been there too. And remember, the journey is part of it, not necessarily the getting there. I really hope that's helped. It's really important to be aware of the negative and toxic aspects of the law of attraction and not beat yourself up for not mindsetting right just because you didn't attract what you thought you wanted to attract.